Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup Winter Season 2014. We're heading into our second quarterfinals of the night. This one's going to be between Playing Ducks and, of course, SK Prime. If you've only just joined us, my name is Munchables, and casting with me tonight is Sigilus. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I really enjoyed that last quarterfinal game we had between Dark Passage and their opponents. Dark Passage did a really good job in that series, managing to take a 2-0 victory over them, so really well played by them. And now we're moving on into our second best-of-3 quarterfinals. Obviously, SK Prime vs. Playing Ducks, as you said. The bans have started to come out. We've got Jace, Jarvan, Gnar, Irelia, and Zed. We're just waiting for our final ban. None of these too surprising, to be honest. Arguably, the Jarvan's a little bit surprising. It's one of those things where he was so very strong on 4.19, but definitely tapered out a little bit moving into 4.20 due to the fact that the jungle's stronger. He is not quite as good at clearing that out and, going for those early ganks like he did before.
Yeah, Jarvan, obviously you kind of have to base fairly early on Jarvan these days. I mean, you can start your buff. You regularly see them start at the Krunks, is it? I can never remember the new names. The Golems, the Stone Bros.
The Krugs.
The Krugs, that's it. Start there, get the smite for the stun, do the red buff as well, but regularly you'll see the Jarvans not able to sustain much further and sometimes having to back even just after one buff, so...
Wow, Warwick actually made it through the ban phase. That last ban was Thresh, and, he is a champion that we've seen banned pretty much every game. He's also... Every game he's gone through, won almost any game he's been in. Has lost a few, but normally due to a very high CC team coming out, stopping his infinite duress, making it finite duress, as I like to say, and making it so it's very difficult for him to actually stick onto a target in the late game. However, he does win a lot more than he loses. That's why we see him banned so much. And SK Prime are going to pick that up as their first pick. They didn't insta-lock it. They were thinking about it. And I guess, the thought process probably goes something along the lines of, why didn't they ban this? Are we getting baited into a pick that they know they can deal with? And then the thought process probably went to, nah, it's Warwick.
Screw it, we could just
so
get
strong
through
at the
Saber.
moment.
Yeah, we could just smite someone and ult them. There is no counter to that, except maybe QSS. Let's force Draven to go QSS early.
Alright, well, looking at the next picks coming out in the first rotation from Playing Ducks, they have decided to go with the Lucian and the Pantheon pick. Now, Pantheon is a champion in the first quarterfinals that we saw do so well between Sample Text and Dark Passage. In the first game, he didn't really manage to make that much of an impact in the early game, but he still did a lot in the mid game by using his Grand Skyfall in conjunction with the teleports coming out of the Malphite top that was being played in order to make things happen. However, in the second game, he did a really nice job in the early game of making stuff happen. So Pantheon's one of those champions that wasn't a huge pickup until recently, but especially due to the changes to things like Dragon, he's come back into popularity. Obviously, you guys might not be aware of this, but Pantheon can actually solo Dragon at level 2 or 3 now. It's crazy. He takes no damage from it.
Yeah, just the passive, obviously, you get every 4th auto attack or ability, you get a shield that will block the next incoming big auto attack. That includes, obviously, champion auto attacks, Dragon, Baron, and Cannon minions, and obviously turrets as well. So, as well, his W will proc his passive on its own, and it doesn't interrupt the stats either, so you can actually get that stacked up twice if you do it correctly, and as you said, able to do Dragon without taking any damage whatsoever.
Yeah, it is one of the reasons why you see him getting picked up, if not because they plan on going for it, but because the threat of him going for it means that the enemy jungler and the enemy bot and mid lane have to play a little bit differently. They have to be placing their wards in positions they wouldn't necessarily normally go for, just to make sure that that early Dragon doesn't get abused. Now, if we look on the side of SK Prime, they've gone for Maokai and Nami as their second rotation picks. Maokai was a champion that was very, very strong for a while leading up to Worlds and slightly past that. However, he got nerfed. He's not in quite the same position he was before, but we're still seeing him picked up a decent amount. And actually, Rumble coming out by Playing Ducks, that is arguably one of the best counters to that Maokai pick. Obviously, Maokai, he has a passive that means every few spellcasts near him trigger a heal on auto attack that he gets. But because Rumble doesn't need to spam his spells, he can just use one thing of Flame Spitter to do a lot of damage. He doesn't necessarily proc it as much when Maokai, tries to come in range to get that passive stack. Also, if you decide to engage onto the Rumble, it's going to be hard to get away from him because he's going to turn around, Flame Spitter, Equalizer. He's going to use those Electro Harpoons and make your life very difficult. So that pick makes a lot of sense. It's very good against the Maokai lane. They also went for the Sona. Now, Sona's an interesting one too, because Sona was actually a champion that was not seeing hardly any play. But Riot, in their patch notes, specifically said, we think Sona is a sleeper. We think she's actually way more powerful than people who think she is, and we're nerfing her even before she gets picked up. Then, since then, she started to be picked up. They were proven correct. She is a very strong bottom lane support. She does so much poke damage. She's so good at sustaining. And this time, she's going to be against that Nami Corki lane, which actually, you know, in terms of Sona lanes, you want to be against something like this. She's going to be able to maximize the efficiency of her healing because there's a lot of poke coming out of the Nami Corki. And also, the fact that she's got poke comparable to that lane means they're going to have a good time.
Yeah, interestingly, not seeing a Janna picked up this game. Janna, one of the top support, I'd argue the top support in the game at the moment, and interestingly, going to see a Nami versus a Sona, and obviously both teams valuing that sustain a little bit more than the AD that you get from the shield on Janna, and obviously just the sheer utility that Janna has to offer. Do you feel that's purely a comp-specific choice that they've made, or do you think that's maybe just fallen through?
I think Sona complements this team really nicely because they don't have much of a front line, and Crescendo is one of the best abilities at just giving you some time to reposition and make your team composition work in a fight. So because they've only really got Pantheon as a front line, having that Crescendo is really nice. On the flip side, if you look at having Janna and that Monsoon, it doesn't do quite as much for this team composition because really, they don't want everyone forced away from them. They need to be quite close range except for Xerath to do damage. Pantheon needs to be melee range. Rumble needs to be really close range in order to make use of Flame Spitter, and Lucian is not one of the highest range attack carries. So monsooning everyone away when you don't have someone who can dive into that backline and make waves isn't that useful. However, using Crescendo on everyone as they jump in, using it on the Warwick to cancel that Infinite Duress, making it finite, that is exactly why Sana is good here. So I think that actually complements their composition very, very nicely. On the flip side, the final pick was that Syndra, and Syndra is an interesting one here. That middle lane is going to be interesting.
It is indeed. Xerath versus Syndra, obviously. Syndra, a big lane bully, but Xerath, on the other hand, incredibly good at clearing waves and incredibly good at poking from a distance where you can't really trade the damage back. And against a Warwick, he's going to be fairly safe in these early levels. Warwick not going to be one to gank really very much pre-level 6, so Xerath should be fairly safe to just farm away, and it could be a little bit difficult for Syndra to maintain the CS with Xerath pushing as hard as he will.
That is very true. All right, guys, we're going to head to a quick music break whilst we get into game. Get ready for SK Prime versus Playing Ducks. It's the quarterfinals. Here we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup. We're heading into our quarterfinals between the Playing Ducks and SK Prime. On our red side, we're going to have the Playing Ducks. They're going to consist of Koi, Zion Uzi, Avenue, Brokey, and Sazed.
And on the blue side, we've got SK Prime, Beansu, Taiki, Godbro, Steelback, and the Barney D. The Barney D, actually, might not want to walk into that bush. He's taking quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, Brokey doing a good job to punish him for that. And actually, we could see a bit of aggression. Not wanting to level that W first, though. Doesn't want to ruin his jungle there and just going to throw a spear across there.
Yeah, both teams just really trying to get some tickle damage onto the enemies, nothing too significant. No particularly deep wards coming out here either, but there have been a lot of wards coming out of SK Prime in that river. They really want to make sure that they're not going to get ganked very early by a Zion Uzi coming out of the jungle on Pantheon. Obviously, Pantheon is one of those champions who is extremely good at those early ganks, so it makes a lot of sense to make sure you've got your bases covered with those wards.
Yeah, I like this by Koi, making sure he's already in the danger zone for when they start off these Krugs. They're going to be able to burst those down relatively quickly, and Pantheon will be able to move straight onto that red buff. Just help him clear that a little bit faster. And we're seeing again, blue side kicking off with the Krugs, while red side kick off with that Gromp.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. The last two games we saw, red side did not decide to go for those, or the Gromp rather. They The first game just helped out their jungler, and in the second game they decided to try and interrupt the Crux. So this game, taking that Gromp, I didn't see quite how they distributed the experience. Obviously, you can either share it equally between the two members, or you can back away as a support, give it to the AD, or vice versa. There are merits to both, but actually, Brokey is taking a lot of damage from that trade right now. Thankfully for him, Sazed has the ability to put down a lot of good healing. However, Steelback getting on a lot of free auto attacks here. Brokey needs to be careful. Had the Phosphorus Bomb landed, he would have been in deep kimchi. Koi, wow, he does so much damage to that Maokai. This is what we're talking about with that counter pick in lane. Obviously not a hard counter, but certainly a soft counter in that top lane. Rumble was doing so much work against that Maokai. Bot lane, Brokey, even though he took so much damage earlier, Sazed has restored so much of his health. He's also used his health potion, which, you know, on the other side, Steelback hasn't used his health potion yet, so there's a bit of an advantage there for him with regards to that. He's going to be able to use that later on to sustain himself when he feels like he needs to. In the mid lane, everything's pretty even at the moment, though.
Yeah, and I mean, that Say's just showing how strong of a pick that Sona is. We saw how low Brokey got, but Say's just able to completely sustain up so easily. And as well, the shield you get when you use that heal is going to mean that they can regularly keep on trading. I believe the cooldown is a little bit shorter than Nami's Ebb and Flow as well.
Yeah, I believe it is. The advantage of Ebb and Flow is that potentially it can do damage as well. Koi, he is just... Look at BMC's mana right now. He is struggling so much against Koi at the moment, and I would not be surprised to see a gank coming up as early as Warwick possibly can. Obviously, Taiki is going to be aiming for that fast level 6 when he gets Infinite Duress. That's really when his ganks start to become potent, because he's going to have that CC, which otherwise he would not. However, at this point, Binsu is going to fall so far behind if he doesn't receive some help that he might struggle. Avenue actually taking a lot of poke in that mid lane as well from Godbro. And here comes Pantheon. Zion Uzi wants to make something happen in the mid lane. I don't think he's going to be able to get it, though.
No, nice positioning there by Godbro. He's going to be able to just walk away from that, force Zion Uzi to have to dive him if he really wants to go for it. And that's definitely not a position playing Ducks want to be in this early in the game, despite Pantheon's passive.
Yeah, indeed, and actually he's kind of looping around here again. There is a ward that saw him leave that part of the jungle, though. It's actually by the entrance, by the Wraith camp on blue side. So he was seen going to the river. Godbro decided to play it safe, move back. He is going to go back to base now. Taiki, he's doing a good job. Oh, hang on,
a lot of trouble in this bot lane. There's the ignite, sorry. Steelback gonna Valkyrie forwards, picks up the first blood, and now we should see Broski trying to pick up the counter kill. There's the flash forwards, picks it up, still has heal available. Alright, doesn't have heal, I apologize, but we're going to see a 1v1 between Barney D and Brokey, I believe. This is not a fight Barney D wants too much, should have to back away from that one, but a 1-for-1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, Brokey had to be careful there at the end, because actually Nami, in a 1v1 situation, does surprisingly a lot because of the fact that Ebb and Flow actually heals her as well as does damage to you, so it's a big shift in the health bars when she decides to use it. Typically, that's the spell that she also levels first, so it does a lot of damage as well. And she's actually able to stay in lane, whereas Brokey has to back off. However, although the kill was taken by Steelback in that bot exchange, Brokey also got the kill, and it was on to Steelback. Taiki trying to deny this vision here. Really nice job by him, knowing that Zion Uzi wasn't able to contest that ward due to his low health bar. Taiki also a level ahead at the moment, so able to put down a lot of damage if he decided to fight. But yes, in that bot lane, because Steelback was the one that died, he had to go back, miss out on experience and gold, whereas Brokey was able to stay a little bit longer, pick up a little bit more in that regard. However, because of the position of the wave, it actually meant that Steelback didn't lose that much from it. He got most of those CS. Nami actually froze the lane outside of his tower, which is very nice. He's going to have to deal with not having Nami around when both members get back to bot lane, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal for him.
Look how far ahead Koi is right now in this top lane. 15 CS already, we're 6 minutes in. He's already level 6. This lane is not going well for Binsu right now. He's really struggling. Unfortunately, unable to get the catalyst as well on his first pack, so not going to have as much sustain as he would like. And I really like how well Koi is doing. He's really taking advantage of this lane and really showing that Rumble is a really strong pick. But we are going to see Binsu going aggressive, actually.
Oh, wow.
Proving me wrong, doing a lot of damage to Koi. Koi actually ended up silencing himself, so he couldn't really trade very much damage back.
Yeah, that basically... Oh, hang on, mid lane, though. We might see Avenue get engaged on. Not quite. But a bubble's going to land on Saves.
Bubble lands on Saves. We're going to have a 1v1 between the AD carries. Relentless Pursuit is going to get broke. Brokey out of there. I nearly said I keep nearly saying Broski. I wish his name was Broski, but gonna be able to get away from that one, but he's gonna have to back away.
Yeah, looking at that top lane exchange. Oh, Koi!
Koi could be in trouble here. Uses the equalizer, but it's not gonna do very much damage, and now he's in a bit of a bad position. Gonna re-engage this one, actually, just clearing away the minions. Gonna have to go all the way round through his Tribrush to get back into lane, and BMC suddenly looking dominant in this top lane.
Yeah, the problem is that because Koi hasn't had an opportunity to go back to lane yet, he's only sitting on that Ruby Crystal, whereas we look over at BMC, he's got a Flask, he's got several health potions, he's got a Mana Crystal and the Ruby Crystal. You know, at this point, he actually is very strong. Dragon getting started off here.
Uh-oh, Zion Uzi could be in trouble. There's the Syndra ultimate. It's going to be enough. The Ignite picks up the killing blow. And with the jungler down, there should be a free Dragon on the side of SK Prime. And they get that 8% attack speed, attack damage and ability power. Now Barney D on the front line, flashing away from the Arcano Pulse. Brokey trying to chase onto this one. Steelback going to be the target. Don't think they can chase into the jungle right now, though. And a nice Dragon pickup from SK.
That was very, very nice. They knew the fact that, you know, you wouldn't expect SK Prime's team comp to rush for that dragon so early. And because they had a lot of good wards down, you know, they had, or at least a pink ward in that side bush. It's now been replaced by one of playing ducks. But, you know, they had a lot of vision control in that area. They abused the fact that the lane was pushed up in the bottom lane. They went for it very quickly. And as Zion Uzi came to get vision in that area, he just got picked up straight away, made it a guaranteed easy pickup for them. So really nice job by them. They're now fairly, you know, far ahead in the lead in terms of gold, considering how early it is. They're also 2 for 1 kills, and they got that dragon buff. This is looking like a very nice opener for SK Prime, especially when you consider that top lane is actually not as far ahead as it arguably should be for Koi, because he didn't go back. Although here's a gank.
But he's baited BMC into a fight. A really nice flash from BMC, gonna get him away from that equalizer. He's incredibly low though. Koi gonna tank up this tower. Zion Uzi should be able to finish off this kill with one last Q. Yes, he can. Blocks the tower shot as well with his passive. A nice pickup for the playing ducks, but taking a look across at this mid lane.
Oh, hang on though, they might get
really
hit
hard time.
here.
But actually, we're gonna see Syndra just misses the EQ combo. And that's going to mean playing ducks might be able to get away. But the infinite duress is available. Going to jump straight onto Koi. He silences himself. Can he get away? The red buff slow is ticking. He can't get away. Taiki picks up the counter kill, and it's a 1-for-1.
That was very, very nice by Warwick to pick that up. Infinite duress is so good when you're trying to chase him down. You can close a big gap, keep him rooted up, wait for some backup to come down. You know, another big part of what happened there was because Maokai actually was able to go back to base and get those items early, he forced Koi back, burned the teleport, and that's a big part of the reason why they went for that dragon. It was overall, you know, in large part due to the fact that Koi didn't go back when he had an advantage. He waited until he actually wasn't at an advantage anymore against Beatsu, and that cost them in the long run. He needs to be very wary about when he decides to go back and use that teleport.
Yeah, and obviously with the teleport down, this potentially gives them a little bit of an advantage for the next dragon. I think the teleport will be up by the next dragon, however, so not too much of a big deal. But Barney D actually taking a little bit of damage. Actually saved. Taking a massive amount of damage from Steelback there, really taking advantage of his opponent being out of position. And Koi doing the same in the top lane there.
Yeah, that was a very nice job there. Looking towards these junglers, Warwick is doing a really nice job of staying ahead in CS right now. He's actually gone for a Ranger's Trailblazer rather than the Skirmisher's Saber. This is something that we occasionally see coming out of Warwick's. Even though the Skirmisher's Saber gives you a lot of damage. Hang on though, because bot lane says get engaged on.
Oh, beautiful crescendo. It's going to absolutely nuke Steelback, but he's going to survive despite the Ignite. Now Brokey on the front line. Does use the Cullen, but it's not quite going to land. Barney D does go down to a piercing light, though, and now Taiki on this front line going to have to back away from this one. Although
here, though.
Infinite Duress not available, but Oni-chan does arrive. This is going to be Zion Uzi going to be the target. He goes down. Taiki picking up that kill. And a 1-for-1 in this bot lane after all that action.
That was a very nice roam down from Godbro to make sure they didn't lose too much from that. However, if we look at the mid lane, Xerath is doing a really good job of pushing that tower down, is already down to about 25% health, so he's going to be able to kill that relatively soon, especially considering how quickly he pushes the waves. touching on my earlier point, though, you don't necessarily need to go for that skirmishing saber on Work. Just having the Devourer enchant gives you a lot of damage by itself, and having the Trailblazer provides a little bit more safety when you're against someone like Zion Uzi's Pantheon in the bot lane. Here he comes again, though, Taiki in the bot lane.
Brokey having absolutely no mana is going to get caught up by that bubble, and that's a kill coming across the Steelback. Really not good positioning there from Brokey, being far too far out for how much mana he had, and no summoners available to get away from that.
Yeah, Sazed also didn't have anything available. No Crescendo, no Ignite, no Flash. He was not going to be able to save Brokey's life, and unfortunately he got picked up there by Taiki. And in this mid lane, Godbro needed to go back after that fight in the bot lane. He actually went straight back to lane, and Avenue, because he has so much more health and mana, has just forced him out of lane. This actually might result in the tower going down, especially because there's no jungler nearby to stop it, and Zion Uzi could potentially rotate to that mid lane to help take it down.
Yeah, and Xerath is more than capable of clearing out these waves so quickly. That should be the tower going down now. It's only on a tiny bit of HP. That's going to be Avenue picking up all of that local gold as well. 250 gold onto him. I would expect him to head back to base and pick up the Athene's Unholy Grail for himself now.
That was an interesting decision by Taiki, actually. He smited the wolf, which normally, high-level players talk about how it's not really the best one to smite. You want to be smiting the Razorbeak to get that vision onto, wards when you cross them. However, he went for the wolf, paid off, actually, because he saw Zion Uzi in his jungle. When you're against someone who is quite focused on early game aggression like that, it can actually be a reasonable pickup. Koi in the top lane getting engaged on here. BMC, he's being quite aggressive considering the fact that Koi is actually, fairly far ahead in the CS and has a lot of damage.
Yeah, I like that he's being this aggressive as well, because his ultimate basically it negates so much of Koi's damage, and if he doesn't quite go all in, just goes for trades like this, he has much more sustain than Koi does. So overall, he can win out those trades, but we might see a dive coming in the bot lane here. Taiki does get caught up by the Crescendo, but it only hits one. That's going to be Zion Uzi, burst down by that infinite duress. Now Steelback on his own, actually. He's going on to Sazed, but he could well go down here. Brokey going to be able to dodge out from that tidal wave. Picks up one kill now. Bizu going to be all eyes onto Bizu, actually. That's going to be Koi getting very low. He goes down. Syndra picking that kill up. Now Bizu trying to jump in onto Brokey. He's not going to be able to get there. There's the twisted advance. There's the knock up. Right at the arcade. Not going to be enough, but a nice piercing light going to pick him up. Now Avenue doing what he can. Everyone's so low. Brokey trying to get in on this. Taiki so low. He goes down. Barney D going to go down as well. Double kill over to Brokey, and now Oni-chan, the last one here. Can he dodge out the skill shots? It looks like he can. Brokey not going to be able to chase this one. But a crazy fight, but now the man drop is going to come in. There's the flash. There's the follow-up, though. Godbro is going to go down. Brokey picking that kill up for his third kill of the fight. This could well be the dragon going down. Pantheon not afraid of taking that one.
That was an excellent turnaround by playing Dux at the beginning. There was a slight mistake made by Zion Uzi. He stuck way closer than he needed to during the Crescendo. Ended up in him being taken out there. They do pick up the dragon. I thought for a second that they weren't necessarily going to get that. Smite didn't actually get used, so they were playing with fire there. Corky's Rockets might have picked that up. Good job by them to get it in the end, though. But yes, in that bot lane fight, Zion Uzi dying right at the beginning. Stayed a little bit too close to the fight during the Crescendo. Taiki ulted him as soon as it was up. However, the teleport in from Koi, a great equalizer, did so much to win that fight back in their favor. And some excellent kiting coming out of Brokey. He stayed alive for so long during that extended engagement.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, look at the score right now. The gold is only 1,000 in favor of playing Dux. Binzu actually in a lot of trouble right now. The equalizer is available. He should go down here. One more auto attack, in fact. Should do it. There's the flame spit. Gonna pick that one up. A nice 1v1 there by Koi, but look at the scoreboard right now. Only 1,000 gold ahead, but look who has it all. Lucian is 6-1-1 and has gone for first item, Mercurial Scimitar.
Wow. This is some pretty interesting reactive play here. I mean, obviously, Work has been picked up so much that this is actually, it might be viable. I mean, there's a lot of CC on the side of SK Prime. You've got Maokai, he can root you. You've got Work, who can suppress you. You've got a stun coming out of Godbro. You've got several stuns and knockups coming out of Barney D. It can't cleanse the knockups, but it can cleanse everything else. And actually, he gets a lot of damage out of it too. Koi in the top lane, though.
Oh, a nice equalizer, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Steelback going to arrive for the assist as well. The kill goes over to Taiki. And actually, Zion Uzi could be in trouble here. Barney D doing what he can. There's the ultimate from Syndra, though. Godbro picking that kill up. And nice play there by SK Prime. They're going to be able to get 2 counter kills.
Yeah, they also picked up that red buff, which means it's not going to go to the side of Zion Uzi. Obviously, that's something which is really useful when you're playing a heavy ganking bruiser like Pantheon. Being able to get the slow onto someone when you auto-attack them makes the difference sometimes. It means that you can stay in range to keep attacking them. Not having that, not having the health regeneration from it, not having the bonus damage could really impact his ability to catch onto the squishy targets of SK Prime and actually get the kills onto them.
Definitely could, and I mean, looking across the scoreboard right now, SK Prime slightly ahead in gold, but you know, I really feel like this is too close to call who's ahead right now. I mean, here we come with the Grand Skyfall. It's going to go straight on to BMC. He's in a lot of trouble. The damage is going to come through from Koi. That's going to be the final spear to pick up the kill for Zion Uzi, and really nice pick off from them.
You have got to be so careful about not overextending against a team with a Pantheon on it. If they have vision, someone can sneak up on you, Grand Skyfall can come in, and you will get popped very, very quickly. That's exactly what we just saw there. Not having BMC available for a fight is a big deal if a fight actually gets started in this mid lane too. He provides so much damage reduction with his ultimate and so much crowd control that if they don't have him, it's a very easy matter for Pantheon to just jump on the back lane, for Broaki to move around freely and keep attacking the targets that he wants to be hitting.
Yeah, look at the wave clear right now on playing Dux. They can siege so effectively just because Xerath is more than happy to poke them under tower as well as Broki's piercing light. And while all this happens, they have Sazed, keeping everybody topped up with those heals. And it's going to be really difficult for SK Prime to go for an all-in engage, especially with Broki having that early Mercurial Scimitar. It's going to mean that they have a lot of not only siege presence, but a lot of teamfight presence as well.
They definitely do, and actually, you know, in conjunction with the Crescendo, it's going to be really, really, really hard to lock down Broaki this game. If he can keep up his current rate of killing and farming, then he can get some more damage, multiplicative stats such as attack speed and crit. At that point, that item choice that he made early on is going to really pay off. However, if he doesn't manage to get any more big items soon, the lack of damage and crit that he has, in addition to the lack of attack speed, might end up biting him in the butt even though he can escape. If you can escape, but you can't do damage, that's not necessarily worth it.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's able to do that, if he's able to snowball this lead that he has, and that is going to be so important, but we're going to see Koi in a lot of trouble. There's the twisted advance, going to follow through, but nice equalizer just going to stop them coming in there, and a really good flash to pull them under the tower. But now we see the man drop coming through. Koi's gone a little bit over aggressive maybe, but there's the right of the arcade. Gonna get the assist for Xerath. In fact, didn't get an assist, just doing it for the cool animation. But we're gonna see in the meantime Broki pushing out this bot lane. Nobody's here to react to this. Could even get some damage down onto the tier 2 tower.
That was a very dangerous time for that gank in the top lane coming out of Taiki. He wanted to try and pick up Koi, and he nearly did, but because Pantheon has that Grand Skyfall ability, he can always join you in. What looks like a 2 versus 1 or a 3 versus 1 can easily turn into a versus 2 situation. They knew that Broki was in the bot lane, and because they showed Taiki's position on the map, he had the ability to push that bot lane with impunity. He knew he wasn't going to be collapsed on. That ended up going so badly for SK Prime. They really need to make sure that they don't give an opportunity like that to someone pushing in the side lane to take a tower for free.
Yeah, and right now on the scoreboard, the gold is so close to even. This next dragon fight is going to mean a lot for these teams. Obviously, one dragon has gone in favor of SK Prime, and I believe it's one dragon all at this stage in the game. So this next dragon is a very big, important objective, but not only for the dragon buff, but the team fight prior to this dragon is going to decide a lot. And if this goes one-sided, this could be a massive, massive gold gap appearing.
It definitely could, and at the moment, the vision control is firmly in control of SK Prime. They've got the crab, they've got the wards down, but Koi is definitely really strong right now. If he teleports down, he's got the equalizer. That could be enough to shift any fight they engage into. He is nearby. Taiki might find him, though.
There's the infinite duress. Koi going to be the focus target. He takes a lot of damage. Corki doing masses of damage right now. Manages to finish him off. The Godbro gets locked up by the Crescendo though. Right, the arcane. Is it going to land? Yes, it is. A beautiful snipe comes down. Now Zion Uzi on this front line trying to get the stun onto BMC. He is going to be able to get it. Although he's not going for it. The Ignite taking on Sazed. He's going to survive that, but another kill coming on to Avenue now.
Oh,
Barney D. Nice flash, though, from Zionuzi. Going to be able to secure another kill. And a beautiful fight. 3 for 1 in favor of playing Ducks, and they're going to be able to get this dragon.
That was really, really nicely played by playing Ducks. They just correctly dealt with the aggression that went on to Zionuzi from Taiki straight away. Taiki has been very trigger happy with his ultimates this game. Oh man, he might get picked up here by Brokey though. Actually, he's very fast. He's got that blood scent on Sazed, keeping him alive there. Really nice there. You know, being near anyone on low health is such a buff to Warwick. Gives him so much movement speed, and in that situation is entirely why he lived.
Yeah, and this second dragon now really important for playing Ducks, because the way they've been playing this so far, they've just been clearing waves and moving on, right? With the 15% extra damage to minions and monsters, they're going to be able to clear those waves that much quicker. Xerath is going to be able to basically one-shot minion waves now, and that's going to be much, much harder for SK to deal with.
It is indeed. Let's talk a little bit about some of these items, because I know obviously we've talked a lot about Brokey's items. They are very unconventional, going straight for that Mercurial Scimitar. But another interesting item pickup here is actually the Hex Drinker coming out of Pantheon on Zionuzi. That makes a lot of sense here. You've got tons of burst coming out of Godbro. You've got a lot of magic damage actually coming out of Taiki too. And decent magic damage coming out of BMC and Steelback. So picking up the Hex Drinker is a really nice decision for him. Xerath, though, he has gone for, in fact, both mid laners have gone for a Void Staff second. They know that both of these teams are going to be itemizing a lot of magic resistance. By picking up that early Void Staff, it actually might do more work than a Death Cap, purely because of how much magic resistance is being picked up on both these teams.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the Void Staff in the early game can just mean that your damage goes so much further. Even with no magic resist items, negating that natural and the magic resist from runes is so important. It's going to mean that your spells just have that much more.
Oh, teleport!
We're going to see a teleport coming through. A beautiful crescendo is going to cancel the infinite duress. Perfectly timed there from Sazed, and this could be pretty bad for SK with that cooldown not going to be available for the next fight. If they go for a man drop, they could have a really nice fight. Obviously, Equalizer's still available.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they went for the crescendo on Taiki there. I don't think they were in too much threat because they were very spread out. It was going to be hard for Syndra to get onto anyone. BMC was quite far away. Had they just tried to kill Taiki straight away and save the crescendo for the inevitable engage, that might have been a little bit more useful. As a result of them using that, Sazed's crescendo is on cooldown for quite a long time. It's 120 seconds at rank 2 at the moment, versus the cooldown of Infinite Duress, which is only 81 seconds at the moment. So potentially, we could see SK Prime finding a little bit of a gap to engage here.
Yeah. I mean, SK Prime doing a good job of controlling the map, despite being slightly behind in gold and being down on one of those dragons. Zionuzi hasn't had a red buff for a good 10 minutes. They've taken the last 2 of them. And, I mean, despite... I'm impressed just the fact that they're still behind and yet managing to take objectives like that, keep map control like that, it's an impressive feat.
It is definitely quite impressive, and if we look at the gold gap, it's actually not very significant. It's only about 1.8k right now in favor of playing Ducks. They're only 3 kills up, the towers are even. The biggest difference at the moment is that they've got a nice amount of dragons, or actually they've only got 2 dragons, which certainly gives them the ability to rotate faster due to the fact that they can kill those minion waves very quickly. But it's really going to be the next dragon which cements them in the lead, because once they've got that 5% movement speed, they can make so many more plays where they pick people off with a Pantheon stun, with Sana running in and crescendoing someone, or they can focus on rotating around the map, use Koi's teleport to provide that split push ability.
Okay, so we've just seen Brokey head back to base. He's picked up that Infinity Edge now, and he's already got a Zeal, he's already got attack speed boost, so he's not going to be suffering too much from attack speed here, but look at his AD right now. He's got 2 PF sword items already. 300 AD almost. His piercing light, without resistances, is going to be hitting for nearly 500. That is huge right now.
That is very huge, and is even huger when you consider the fact that there's not that much armor being itemized at the moment on SK Prime. They have to deal with the double AP comp coming out of Koi plus Avenue, and in order to do that, they've all had to go for magic resistance items. We've got the Aegis of the Legion coming out of Work. We've got a No Magic Mantle coming out of BMC. We've got Nephenes on Syndra. Every single one of them has gone for some form of magic resistance, with the exception of Steelback, who obviously doesn't want to itemize defense so early in the game. And as a result of that, picking up 2 BF sword items early like this is going to mean that he hits so hard, especially when you factor in the fact that Sazed is going to be able to buff that up even more with her Hymn of Valor.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're able to get onto it. I mean, Brokey needs to be their focus in these team fights, I feel, but it's going to be so hard with that Mercurial Scimitar. I really, really like that early pickup for it. The more I think about it, the better it seems.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why he was able to do that and not suffer for it was the fact that he picked up that huge kill spree in the bot lane when SK Prime tried to go for the dive. You don't really want to be in a situation where you back and all you can buy is a QSS early game. It doesn't give you any damage. But because he already had the BF sword and could just finish the Mercurial Scimitar pretty much straight away, that meant that he wasn't really losing out that much. It's very important that that happened in that way, otherwise this build path would not have been nearly as effective, and he would have not spiked, early enough to actually do damage in team fights.
And there we go again with SK stealing away buffs, just having this map control despite playing Ducks being slightly ahead, having that one dragon advantage, and having an ever so slight gold advantage. SK are doing well to just sort of bully them here.
Oh, Koi might get caught out here, though.
Bubble followed by Twisted Advance. That's going to be Koi getting absolutely melted. The Tidal Wave comes through, but he's still alive here. Arcano Pulse is coming through, doing a lot of damage to the team. There's the culling as well. Only one person gone down so far. Koi did eventually go down after all of that. A lot of ultimates used, but it's a 1-for-0 in favor of SK, and they're going to push down onto this mid lane tower.
That was a very nice oh man, God bro.
Oh, here comes the right of the Arcane. Is it going to land? It does, but it's not enough. Now the man drop, though. Beansu. Oh, beautiful bubble. Going to completely negate that. He's going to go down. And that's a 2-for-1 so far for SK, doing an excellent job in that team fight. Picking up the mid lane tower. They're going to be able to get away. And Taiki looking like he wants to chase on Sona, but backing away from this one. Pinging these minion waves in the top lane. And going to head away. And this dragon opened up for SK. And this could be 2 dragons each now.
They need to be careful about staying this long. There's a TP from Koi coming in.
This could be dangerous. He's so low. As the Ardent Blaze doesn't quite land, but Koi gets obliterated again. Now Beansu jumping onto Brokey. A nice QSS going to save his life there. And he's not able to do very much damage to Beansu. This is going to be the dragon going down. Taiki able to smite that one away. And SK, despite getting sandwiched there, pick up another kill.
Playing Ducks are falling apart right now. That last fight in the jungle, Brokey was not in a good position to deal damage for most of it. The only thing he could do was use the culling. Koi, obviously having got caught out, had to flash backwards and wasn't able to contribute very much damage either. And as a result of that, the fight went so clearly in favor of SK Prime. Then they tried to catch him out in the dragon, not remembering potentially that Beansu also had his teleport in addition to Koi. Koi teleports in, but no one was there to actually stop the crowd control landing on him as soon as he arrived. As a result of that, he fell immediately. He should not have teleported into a position where his team could not have backed him up.
I feel as well like a lot of that team fight was down to a poorly placed equalizer from Koi. I think he might have done it in the wrong direction. We saw him throw it out into the mid lane, and had he just thrown it into that bit in front of Wolves, that could have completely negated the rest of the engage from SK.
That is very true, actually, and it's all these little things like slightly mispositioning an ult that can really result in very bad team fights and eventually you losing the game. That's why these pro players have to practice so much to make sure that they get it almost perfect every single fight. At the moment, though, Baron's up, and I actually think there's a good chance we could see a bit of a dance around this right now, because both teams are in a position where if they engage in a full-out fight, and either one of them gets a big ultimate off, be it a Crescendo, an Equalizer, an Infinite Duress, or a Tidal Wave, they could win a fight purely based off that.
Yeah, well, let's see, and looks like they are heading towards that side of the map. The minion waves, however, are pushing right now in SK's advantage in both the top and bottom lanes. This is really, really good for them. They're going to get a lot of map pressure off this, and while there is no teleport available, we could see them splitting off. We are seeing Taiki looks like he wants to go towards that bot lane, but heading towards the mid right now. Going to clear out these minions, and if they can get some decent map pressure, they could end up taking a tower just from position.
They want to catch him, actually.
Oh, the infinite duress onto Brokey. There's a nice QSS, though. The crescendo kind of wasted there, I feel.
That's twice now that Sazed has used a crescendo on Warwick when it wasn't ultimately necessary to do so, and as a result of that, if another fight happens very soon that's not going to be available, it's a very important skill for them to have. As I mentioned in the pregame, they do not have a front line that's good enough. Grand Skyfall got used there, I think. It didn't actually go anywhere. I saw the animation start, not sure what that was about.
Deciding not to go for that one. Obviously, you can cancel it and not burn the entire cooldown. Just puts it on for 5 seconds, so...
I think that might have been in the mode of that skin, actually, because it doesn't look like it's gone on cooldown. I'm very sorry for the false alarm.
It goes on
there.
cooldown for 5 seconds, and then you can...
It's only 5.
If you cancel the animation, yeah, you can cancel it before you go.
Right, well, in that case, I actually quite like what he did there, because he probably used the animation, obviously you see that big circle coming up, to deter them from pushing onto that inner tower. It's quite a smart play, and it did a good job of making SK Prime back away from that objective. Really nice job there. In the meantime, though, SK Prime are doing a really good job of making sure that they're clearing all of the vision around this Baron by forcing Playing Ducks back to their base and then coming in. That was an interesting avenue out there, actually just to get vision. Obviously, Right of the Arcane provides you a huge amount of vision when you use it, and now Coin needs to be careful not to engage on here.
Ooh, the Shocking Orb just going to miss out there. Taiki taking a lot of poke damage from Avenue here, and obviously the ultimate is going to be on cooldown for Avenue, but it's not too long of a cooldown. He does already have 20% CDR from that Athene's Unholy Grail. We'll see if he's able to get that off cooldown before the next team fight, but without the Right of the Arcane, that could be a big deal for them. 1 minute still left on that cooldown.
Yeah, and at the moment, all of the cooldowns are available, you know, on the flip side, on the side of SK Prime. Oh man, here they go!
Oh, the big wombo combo comes through. The Tidal Wave gonna land onto everyone, but the health bar starting to get really low for SK. This could be a bad fight for them. BMC having to flash away from this. Taiki is gonna be the first one to go down now. Barney D flashes away as well. And that's gonna be a 1 for 0 so far. Playing Ducks playing that very, very well, and looks like they're heading towards the Baron.
I think they need to be a little bit careful of going for this Baron, actually. Godbro still has his Unleashed power available. He can pop someone very quickly. Everyone's at about half health, although Sana doing a nice job of sustaining them up. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get this. Baron obviously does a lot more damage now that it's 4.20. Barney D gets slowed up. Here's a counter engage.
Yeah, they're looking to try and just bait this one out. The flash comes out from Zion Uzi. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage, but doesn't quite secure the kill. Now Sazed on the front line, heals himself at the last second. Going to survive this one now. Koi trying to get onto Godbro, but a nice EQ is going to pick up that kill. Koi going to be a casualty yet again this game. 2 for 7. He is not having a fun game. Godbro now going to be the target right there. Arcane, it does land, and Barney D gets taken down in the top lane in the meantime. Playing Ducks managing to clamor this back and steal back now in a bit of a bad spot. Although Zion Uzi could get caught out here. The E is ticking away. There is the rocket damage. Can he finish it off? Smites the minion there. He's trying to get away. Is he going to get it? No, he's not. Steal back with a nice snipe to finish off that fight.
Very nice job there. He tried to heal himself. Oh man, Brokey. That's where the QSS comes in useful.
And just that I love this pickup so much. I keep on saying it, but I love the fact that he's picked up that early QSS and paying absolute dividends for him right now. But look at the gold. We're completely even again.
Yeah, it is very, very even right now, actually. SK Prime did a really nice job of coming back a little bit in that fight, stopping the Baron, which is obviously extremely important. Godbro did an excellent job of picking up Koi, making sure that, you know, there's not going to be that consistent damage coming out of the Rumble, stopping them from continuing the fight. And actually, I just want to talk about Taiki at the moment, because at the moment, he's been focusing on trying to use his ultimate on Brokey, even though there's been a Mercurial Scimitar on him for a very long time. The cooldown is not particularly long, it's only 90 seconds. To put it in perspective, that's only 20 seconds longer than Infinite Duress, and obviously there's going to be a lot of time where you're not in position to use the ability perfectly. So it would make sense for him to potentially consider Koi or Avenue as higher priority targets than Brokey right now.
Yeah, we're gonna see now. The Dragon Dance starts again. We have 2 stacks on the side of SK, but we don't have time to talk about that now. The man drop comes through. Beansuit is going to be the focus target. It takes a lot of damage, but he's able to soak it right now. Taiki using the ultimate onto Zion Uzi, and he goes down immediately. Say's now trying to run away from this one. Obviously has the movement speed. There's a lot of damage coming through. The equalizer lands, but again, not quite on target. Now Koi on the front line takes a lot of damage, has to back away from this one, and a 1-for-0 so far in favor of SK. Avenue trying to do what he can, but we're going to see Steelback jumping forwards aggressively. Avenue able to back away though. This could be a dragon for SK. We'll have to see. There is a lot of potential for a counter engage though.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'd like to see Koi go back and heal up so he can teleport in right now. He is quite low and he does not have much health. Oh, Xerath landed some great poke though. Avenue's doing some serious work.
He is indeed. The shocking orb not quite going to land though. He's doing a lot of damage. If he can land onto Godbro again, they could win a fight, but Koi gets stung up yet again. There's the Zhonya's. It's going to keep him alive for a second. Taiki goes down. Ignite. Is it going to be enough? Koi goes down. It's a 1-for-1 jungler for top laner, and now it's a 4-for-3. But we do see Zion Uzi's coming back into this fight. It's going to turn into a 4-for-4 if they're not careful. I don't know if they know that Zion Uzi's here yet. He's going to arrive. If he can land the stun, the shocking orb just missing. The dragon's so low, it goes down. Zion Uzi snipes that one with the smite. And after all of that, Playing Ducks managed to take the dragon.
Really nice job by them. One thing I wanted to touch on, which was absolutely crazy, was that Godbro landed a 4-man Scatter the Weak stun at the beginning of that engagement near the jungle entrance to blue side. It was crazy. He had so many balls on the floor because he used his Unleash power. He was just able to scatter the weak in like 4 directions at once, and even though Playing Ducks was spread out, they all got hit by it. Absolutely immense. That was one of the big reasons why they won that fight to begin with.
Yeah, really, really strong from them, and that extended fight went on for so long. The dance just completely... both teams so nervous about engaging, and then when it does engage, it just completely explodes. Both teams going crazy. And after all of this, we're still seeing the gold almost exactly even. 400 gold between these teams right now. We have 3 dragons on the side of Playing Ducks compared to only 2 dragons on the side of SK. But 2 versus 3, not that big of a deal. It's only a 5% movement speed advantage, and with the gold so even, this is still anyone's game.
Yeah, it definitely is anyone's game. I would give the late game slightly in favor of SK Prime, though. Corki's going to do a little bit more than Lucian, and in addition to that, Lucian's build path means that he's not going to be hitting for quite as much for a little while. If you look over at the items on Corki, he's got his Trinity Force, his Bloodthirster, his Last Whisper. He's working on his Infinity Edge. As soon as he finishes that, he is going to melt people. One of the big things that Infinity Edge is good at... Oh, hang on.
Koi gets stunned up yet again. There's the Infinite Duress. The heal comes through. Is it going to be enough? He's so low. He's going to go down. The Crescendo does land onto 2 people, but it's not going to be enough. A beautiful Scatter the Weak onto Avenue. He goes down. Syndra ultimate picking that one up now. Beansu right in this front line, doing as much damage as he can. He's taking a lot of damage back, but he's able to soak it. Another Scatter the Weak, picking up the double kill now. Taiki trying to chase onto the Lucian. He's not quite going to be able to get there. Steelback actually tanking this inhibitor tower. He needs to get out of there. But this could well be Baron going across to SK. They're going to clear out the wards on the way there. And I really don't think that there's much Playing Ducks can do about this. Man drop is available though.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the Grand Skyfall, but unfortunately, if he jumps in, he is going to fall very quickly. He has Smite available, but he's the same level as Warwick. Taiki's also got that Hungering Strike, which does so much of a percentage-based HP that he's going to be able to make sure that he gets that. Baron does fall to SK Prime, and they're looking in a very good spot right now. They've extended their lead, or rather, they've created a lead of 4K. There wasn't a lead at all. It was very even before that. And as I was saying before, as this game goes longer and longer, I definitely have to give the edge compositionally to SK Prime. You know, on the side of Playing Ducks, you've got the Pantheon. He falls off. You've got Double AP, who kind of fall off due to the fact that, you know, look at the magic resistance on the side of SK Prime. They've got a lot of it, and typically your mages don't do as much in the late game anyway. In addition to that, Broiki, because he's up against Taiki's Warwick, went for that Mercurial Scimitar. It did a lot early on, but as it moves into the later game, he is not going to be hitting as hard as Corki. The Infinity Edge is finished now. That item is so good at shredding squishy targets, and there isn't really even a front line on the side of Playing Ducks. How are they going to deal with that damage?
I'm not sure if they're going to be able to deal with that damage in all honesty, but we'll have to see. I mean, they did get some nice pickups earlier on in this game. Well, they're going to have to do the same. But if Oni-chan is on it with these Scatter the Weeks like he has been in the last couple of fights, it's not looking good for the Playing Ducks. But we now see these Baron Duck minions going to easily dispatch this tier 2 tower, and they're heading on towards the inhibitors now. Everybody's in the mid lane for Playing Ducks right now. They might be able to get a decent chunk of damage onto this tower right before anyone can even get here. They're going to be forced away. Culling used by Lucian there, but with these Super Siege minions, they're out of range of the Playing Ducks right now. It's just, the Playing Ducks have to pretty much fully engage to deal with these kind of minions.
Yeah, they do not have much long range engage. Here we go.
Oh, the flash crescendo doesn't land. Sazed on the front line gets obliterated. BMC so tanky. Taiki as well picks up a kill onto Koi. That's 2 for 0 for SK. And they have the sustain of Nami. They're going to be able to stick around, but the right of the arcane comes through. Can it land onto anyone? I don't think BMC will die even if the third one hit there. They're going to survive this. They don't get the same health regen from Baron on this patch, but it's 3 for 2. They don't need it.
Steelback is full health too, so he can easily run up and take a little bit of damage to take the tower. He's actually going in and putting some harass down. Here they go.
There goes the Scatter the Weak. It lands again, but a nice QSS is going to keep Brokey alive, but there goes the inhibitor, and that is disastrous for the Playing Ducks. Dragon up in 1 minute. This could be yet another free objective for SK if they play it right.
The Playing Ducks were in such a good position earlier on. Unfortunately, several fights where Koi got caught leveled the playing field, gave SK Prime a window where they were the same strength, and they have abused it perfectly. Taiki has started using ultimates way better, not just on Brokey, not just on the target who's going to use his QSS, but on other targets as well to make sure he locks them up so they can be killed. I mean, this is getting to a point where it's so hard for Playing Ducks. Their composition is beginning to fall off. And really, they need to find a gap in SK Prime's defenses. They need to pick someone off. That is the best way for them to come back into this. Dragon's up in 20 seconds. We might see a fight on it.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like if they fight for this, this is kind of all or nothing for them right now. This will be the fourth dragon coming across for SK, and if they manage to get this, I apologize. No, sorry, this will be the third dragon coming across for SK. It is Playing Ducks that already picked up 3. They'll get the movement speed from this one, so it's not as big of a deal as I initially thought. They're not going to get that extra tower damage, but nice little pickup for them. That's going to be 3 dragons all, and I must say this is the closest dragon trade that I've seen in any game since the new patch. 3 for 3 at 43 minutes right now. That is incredibly close, but the gold gap is starting to make a difference now.
Yeah, it is very close in terms of dragons, but not very close in terms of gold. Although 6k this late in the game, it does mean a lot less than it does earlier on. The movement speed, though, is actually going to be really useful here. They're trying to rotate between 2 different lanes. By having that ability to do so quicker, it's going to be very useful. This fight, we need to see Sazed land his ultimate better than the last ones. Last fight, it missed everyone completely, and that's a big part of the reason why they couldn't contest Brokey, actually. Ooh, wow.
Tidal Wave View's not going to land, and it's the other support not landing the ult this fight, but the flash is not going to be available for Sazed, and that is so important for landing those good crescendos. But a shocking orb going to land, but a nice nice QSS actually going to land. Whoa, the ultimate coming through from Oni-chan, so close to getting onto Brokey, but with him out of the picture, that is going to be the end. But now, Corki absolutely bursts him down. Koi on the front line now has to flash away. Sazed healing up his teammates, but this is going to be a second inhibitor. In the meantime, super minions pushing in that bot lane. They might even be able to take a third inhibitor tower. They might even go for Nexus towers right now. They have managed to pick up the kill onto Avenue. It's a 4v5 right now. They don't have Baron buff anymore, but with the super minions, I feel like they have enough damage.
They don't have a lot of their key spells, though. That's the biggest problem. Taking the middle inhibitor tower makes a lot more sense, although Grand Scanfall.
Barney D in a lot of trouble here. On the front line, takes a lot of damage, but he's walking away with this on. BMC now rooting up the enemies. That's going to be a beautiful Scatter the Weak, locking up the entire enemy team. Koi using the Zhonya's, but it's at the last second. He's going to go down. Doesn't manage to get a counter kill. 2 more kills for SK. Certainly the inhibitor tower, possibly the game here.
I think this is very likely going to be the game, actually. That's first... Oh, man.
Oh, the infinite duress. Going to be another kill coming onto Corki. 11-10 in the end of this game. And that is definitely going to be the game now.
Really well played by SK Prime. They endured the storm. They weathered it in that early game whilst, Playing Ducks were really far ahead. And they got themselves to a point later on where their composition was stronger. Mad props to Playing Ducks for trying things like the early